Today, we're going to have a look into Burma, or Myanmar. The largest country in Southeast Asia, the area is surrounded by China, Laos, Thailand, Bangladesh and India. Top exports include rice, oil and precious gems. Though rich in resources, the country's been labelled a least developed fourth world country by the UN, exhibiting the lowest indicators of socio-economic development, with the lowest human development index ratings of all countries in the world. And why would such a large country with fine resources be so poor? In 1988, unrest over economic mismanagement and political oppression by the government led to widespread pro-democracy demonstrations throughout the country. Hundreds of demonstrators were massacred by security forces, and General Sormong staged a coup d'etat, forming the State Law and Order Restoration Council, SLORC. Due to protest and continued upheaval, however, a year later the military staged the first free election in 3 decades. Enter Aung San Suu Kyi. In 1990, Aung San Suu Kyi, leader of the National League for Democracy, won the elections by 392 out of a total of 489 seats, but the ruling party was unable to accept defeat. The SLORC used their military power to maintain their leadership while also placing Aung San Suu Kyi into house arrest. Over the last 18 years, many critics claimed that an elite few have ruled the country for their own personal interests at the expense of the population. After recently doubling gas prices and quadrupling natural gas prices, Buddhist monks began to stage protests, starting with just a few and quickly building to hundreds and now thousands. Yet the military doesn't allow protest, and thus the conflicts which we've seen over the last 2 weeks have become extremely tense. With the death of a Japanese reporter last week and evidence of hundreds of slaughtered monks found dumped in the jungle just yesterday, the SLORC has completely shut down the country's internet system in hopes of suppressing information to the rest of the world. However, the international arena is now keeping a very close watch. The country's most important relationships economically are currently with China and India, especially over oil exports. The United States and the UK have economic sanctions imposed on the country, though these may result in affecting the people they're meant to help the most. Groups from all over the world are getting involved. Here's actor Jim Carrey on Aung San Suu Kyi.
After she won 82% of the parliamentary seats in her country, she was denied the right to govern and held under house arrest by a military regime that has burned over 3,000 villages, forced millions from their homes, raped and tortured thousands, and recruited more child soldiers than any other country in the world. That message got a lot of attention because a lot of you watched it. Now I'd like to ask you to use that power again by sending your very own email to this address: inquiries@un.org, urging the UN Secretary-General Ban Ki-moon to coordinate a strong response by the United Nations Security Council to the situation in Burma. Right there in front of your keyboard, you have the power to help.
As Carrey said, you can do something right now with a simple email. Other examples of action being taken: humanitarian organisations using satellite imagery to document atrocities, the use of Facebook groups, in this case with hundreds of thousands of members. Flickr groups are posting red photographs in reference to the Saffron Revolution, worldwide Free Burma Day rallies October 4th and October 6th. It's up to us to contribute. Please leave any further information or ideas you have in the comments. I'm Joanne and this is Rocketboom.